Hey everyone, how are you guys today? I'm here to teach you something. I hope I'm here to teach you something. Maybe it's helpful for you guys in your project. How to save money on thread and how to save time on your project kind of thing. As you can see, I have a close-up at the top of my sewing machine on purpose because I wanted to show you an economy size spool of thread. Now, typically when I buy mine, which I'm going to pull this out of my machine, I had it all set up, that's okay. They usually come in like 1,000 yards or more. I typically buy polyester thread because I like how smooth it is with the project. It doesn't, like cotton thread will have a tendency to add like fuzzies all over. And another thing I'm not a huge fan of cotton because it really messes up a machine sometimes. And the last thing I want to do is take my machine in to get fixed, especially in the middle of a project. So polyester is definitely universal. Cotton, I mean, everyone has opinion on it and how they like to work with it, but I love polyester. It's durable. Cotton over time has a tendency to rot earlier on if it's not used up kind of thing as well. Okay, so what I'm trying to teach you, one thing I do, I'm just giving you suggestions on maybe helping you out, and maybe this will, is I usually buy, like I said, the economy size, which typically runs me between $3.99 to say $6.50, depending on the size. I usually get 1,000 yards because I'm not doing full-time sewing anymore, so I don't need to. But before, I would buy the larger spools. But if you're just a basic sewer, this is perfect. Because when you go to like your regular fabric store and you buy a regular full spool of thread, which has 250 yards on it, you're going to pay $3. $2.99 is the typical price right now. Rarely can you get it for $2.50. Say maybe sometimes Walmart might have it for cheaper. But mind you, 4 of these are in one of these. That tells you a lot. So 12 bucks on these little bitty guys, or I mean, you can go for $5 or $6 for this guy. So you're saving half the price, by getting a larger spool. Now, the second question you're probably, want to know is, can I use the economy size on my sewing machine? Every sewing machine that you have should let you use an economy size spool of thread. So don't be scared. Usually what you do is on your machine, there is a spool holder. I don't know if you can see this in the video. Some screw off, most do. Mine doesn't because mine already holds an economy size. Most typical machines, they're shorter, but you can pull the rod up and it extends it to where you can use it. Now, if you have a very basic machine and it doesn't do that, you can buy the piece replacement, so you can. So usually they're typically like a few bucks. I'm going to say $4, $5 the most. But mind you, it's going to be saving you money. So try it out. Now, if you don't have the money to do that and you have the short one, I typically put my spool on and then I put my finger, I'm going to do upside down because the larger end, you can put your finger in easily. Put your finger in and I hold right in the middle and it's going to bob around. But I mean, hey, we could call it the poor man way. It works. You can do it. It's a little bit more work, but if you want to save the money, you can do that. I've done it in the past when I had my very first sewing machine. So I'm just saying, live and learn. When I didn't have the money, that's how I did it kind of thing. So there's the money saving tip that I have for you. Also, a second money saving tip is when you buy your bobbins, buy a whole bunch of them. Make sure when you buy bobbins, they're compatible with your machine. Because you don't want to use a Singer bobbin on a FOF. You don't want to use certain products on different types of machines. Make sure the bobbins are useful for your machine. And when you do buy a whole bulk of them, the second money-saving tip is fill them up. Get them all ready. Whatever colors you're going to use them, what have you, before any project. That's why I use these economy size spools. And I just fill up my colors. Like typically I fill up mostly the white because I use white the most. But say if you want to use all kinds of different kinds of threads, get them all out and fill those bobbins up right away. But before okay, I'm going to save you a time and money tip here. Your bobbins, like when you fill them up, fill up the first one first. Don't fill all those up yet with your first thread spool that you use, because here's a helpful tip here, which I'm going to teach you guys something that's going to save you time and money and a lot of frustration, because I am sure I threw these out the window before after I have filled them all up with a certain kind of spool of thread. Mind you, I'm going to say it is a cotton thread that I did it with, and I was so mad because I filled them all up, and then for some reason that thread I bought was either cheap or I'm not sure what. But when I used my first bobbin, I couldn't use it on any of my projects because however it wounded up, it wasn't wound up correctly. That sounded so funny that it just, none of them worked. So I had to, I honestly, I discarded mine. I didn't want to unthread all those spools, especially some of these spools can be so cheap. So live and learn. So I'm going to save you time and money on that. Just do the first spool, bobbin spool first. Try it on your machine. Get some fabric out. See if this works properly before you start filling up all those bobbins. That is a big helpful hint. Another thing too, when you get your machine, you're probably wondering what these are. These are like spool stoppers, pretty much. Like it helps keep your spool. Like here's your spool of thread, your shorter one. Like when I put a shorter one on there, it's gonna like sometimes like it will lift up and down when you're doing the project. You don't want that because that sometimes has a tendency to create different stitches on your project, and you don't want that. So either you can use a small one or a larger one. You just push that down on the top. Now, if your machine doesn't have them, it wouldn't hurt to get it. I'll tell you a poor man's way, which is not a bad thing. If you have like, what do you call that, styrofoam, or if you have some kind of plushy foam, put a hole in it and then stick it right in until it hits to the top. Don't put a whole lot of pressure because you don't want this thread too tight to turn. You want it just enough leeway to pop, just a little bit, not a whole lot. I put that foam right on there till it touches. And then I might replace that foam every once in a while, but foam is cheap. Not a big issue at all kind of thing. So trying to think if there's anything else that I'm forgetting here. Well, I think that's that was a good saving and time tip for you guys. So I suggest if you want to save money, time, this is easy ways to do it. If you want to know where I get my polyester thread, economy size thread spools, down below, I'll put a couple links down there to show you where I get mine. There's some companies there that I totally trust. I buy often from, and I hope you guys, this was helpful. I mean, I know it's really basic, but some people, you need this little lesson. You didn't know, I didn't know. I had to learn this through the years doing sewing. I just started doing it all by myself and learning different ways of doing it. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below or message me. Down below is also my email address, my shop's link down there. Contact me if you have any questions. I'll help you the best I can, walk you through it. If you're not sure how to use your bobbin or your thread winding on your machine, just don't forget, most machines has a name and model number on there. Go on your search engine on YouTube, type in your name and model number of your machine and the question like how to wind a bobbin with, say, my FOF 1.5, and then a ton of beautiful, helpful resources will pop up and teach you how to do such things. So no worries, you're not alone. There's so many people have these simple, basic concerns and questions, but you know what? None of them are bad. I mean, we are learning how to do the best we can with our projects. So again, I hope I helped you out saving money and time and hopefully gave you some helpful shops that you can shop and support as well. Products that you can use yourself. Again, I love the economy size. So I hope you guys check that out. Save your money from buying those small spools of thread. And that's pretty much it. Until next time, I will try to find other ways to save you money and time on your projects. So stay tuned for the next time. I can't wait to share another one, guys. You guys have a blessed day. Bye.